Hello everyone, welcome back to Cooking with Chef ThugLife. I'm here with Miss Karina from the Boys and Girls Club, and today we are going to demonstrate how to make a pasta dinner. This dinner is something that you should have your adult or parent supervision around you because we're going to be using the oven. For the pasta, we're going to be using cheese tortellinis. You can find them fresh in like a refrigerator section or in the freezer. Either one is fine. I have a hot Italian chicken sausage. Any type of sausage that you like will work. I have some Alfredo sauce. Found this at the dollar store. I have a can of cannellini beans. You can find beans at the dollar store as well, not this brand in particular. I also have spinach. I have a bag of frozen spinach if you cannot find fresh, which is okay. I also have some sun-dried tomatoes, and you can find these at the Dollar Tree as well. And then I also have a little bit of pecans here that we're going to add at the end. Before we do all of that, I've got our oven heating up at 350 degrees, and we are going to use just some regular croissants and make some garlic butter so that we have sort of like a garlic knot to go along with our lovely pasta dinner. Let's get started.
Yeah.
How do you open these? I feel like
I'll pull that and let it pop open. But I brace myself a little bit because I know.
Brandon tells me that I don't open it correctly because I don't bang it on
You're
the.
not supposed to.
I was like, who does that?
You're not supposed to. These things come out and attack you.
I don't know what household you grew up in.
Yeah. That's it. But it seemed like when I was younger, they would bust open.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, they probably fixed that over the years. That was probably like a manufacturing error.
Yeah, because I'm like,
because they definitely seemed a lot more scary as a child. So here we have. Put that up top for the moment. We have some butter here. Let me see if it's soft enough. So you don't want it to be melted. You could just let it sit out at room temperature. You just want it to be soft enough so that you can add the garlic and just kind of mush it around in there. I always have like pre-chopped garlic around. It just makes life easier when you're doing different things. Or you could also use garlic powder if you don't have any chopped garlic or fresh garlic. So I'm just taking 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. This is about 4 tablespoons of butter. And now we've just made garlic butter.
nice.
And then while it is in the oven, the garlic is going to cook a little bit, so it's not going to have like a raw garlic taste to it. If you were to like just eat this on like a piece of bread right now, it wouldn't be pleasant. Roll out our croissants. Is that the right one?
Yeah, it's like when I made croissants for breakfast one day, I did not pay attention to the markings on how to, so they came out looking very different. So roll yours out first.
I feel like with the croissants and all this type of stuff, like whatever shape it is, it's fine. I think the most important part is that it's just cooked. And
Yes. They were cooked already.
I'm just going to take a little bit of garlic and smear it. You don't want to push too hard because you don't want to flatten it. We're just trying to get some of the garlic butter on the inside before we roll it. And you start at the bigger end. Roll it up. And then as your croissant bakes, all of that garlic butter is just going to ooze out. And it's going to be delicious. Do you think you can handle?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
I was waiting for you to ask. Let me.
I'm just going to take this real quick. And I'm going to get our pot of hot water started for our pasta. Ooh, I'm spilling. Whenever you're making pasta, I always make sure to salt my water really good. Like, your water should almost be like ocean water, because if you're cooking pasta, normally like dry pasta, you're trying to rehydrate it, and the salt gives it flavor to the actual pasta itself. Have you ever like ate a pasta dish and it's like you taste the sauce has flavor, but like the pasta itself is just like kind of bland? That's because the person didn't salt their water.
Cute. These are like life lessons, guys. Please take notes.
I'm using a little non-stick like silicone pad, but you could use aluminum foil, or you could just spray it with some Pam spray and then put your croissants right on there. Put a lid on.
I know this is a very random thought, but who was the uncle's voice on the Proud Family? Was that Cedric the Entertainer?
I have no idea. I never thought about that. Did you know they're rebooting it?
Yes, I did. I've seen that. And like Keke Palmer is supposed to be in it.
That's I feel like good. You could play Keke Palmer.
I can play. Why somebody calls me Keke Palmer? Can you edit that out? Because I don't want that to linger over my. I don't want people to start calling.
I like her.
Somebody calls me Keke Palmer, and somebody else calls me Maxine from Living Single.
Oh my goodness!
I'm like, yo, y'all are disrespectful. Very intense. Wow. I gotta be manic and erratic too. That's crazy. That's crazy.
So while Miss Karina is making our lovely garlic croissants, we have the water coming up to a boil. I have the chicken sausages here. This part, you probably could use just a regular butter knife to cut the chicken sausage. This is a fully cooked chicken sausage.
Nice.
So really all we have to worry about is just heating it back up. And I just like to cut it in half.
So I'm very new to the chicken sausage world. I've had barbecue chicken sausage and I think jerk chicken sausage.
Okay. Well, like I said, I didn't grow up eating pork, so it's like any other sausage is what I look for. And then I also have to like triple check the ingredients, because sometimes it'll be a chicken sausage, but then it'll be pork casing.
Yeah.
And just like, you just ruined this whole experience for me.
Can you remove the casing and treat it the same?
I mean, you could, but most of the time, like for me in particular, it was a religious reason as to why I didn't eat pork. So if the pork is touching it, like the whole thing is contaminated. Okay. You can't eat it. That's like when people will just say like, oh, just take the pepperoni off the pizza. The pork juices are already on there. It doesn't work like that. Do you mind sliding that up over there? I have a big pan that I'm going to get warmed up over medium heat with just a little bit of oil, so we can begin to heat up the chicken sausage. And everything is going to be done in the same pan. I like to keep things as simple as possible.
Keep it simple, stupid.
You're doing a great job with those croissants.
You know, I take every job I have very seriously. Let me tell you. Super serious with my garlic butter
You look like you did a good garlic butter ratio. All of them have the garlic butter. You didn't run out too quickly.
No, not at
all of that matters.
I love garlic nuts. I have a strange passion for them.
Okay. Alright, I'll take the pan. And then our oven is already warmed up. Pop that right in. set a timer. I'll set it for 10 minutes and then we'll check it. Okay. Almost there. So we could get to our spinach while we're waiting for this to heat up. I got spinach that you could just microwave in the bag so that it could just heat up, and then once we have all of the rest of the sauce together, we'll just put the spinach right into the sauce, pasta in with everything else. So I'm gonna read my directions for I can trust. Microwave, do not pierce, puncture, or open the bag. Gently massage the package to break apart. Replacing microwave. Alright, cool. So we just need to massage it a little bit.
Nice and comfortable.
Yeah. Or hangs out. Always read your instructions on these bags. Sometimes they'll tell you to like open them a little bit.
Yeah.
This one in particular said not to do that. So, I think our oil is hot.
And yesterday you said it was, you can tell your oil is hot by something.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
see like the way that it looks in the pan. It's not moving as slowly as when it did when we like first pour it in. It moves a little bit quicker because your oil, if it's sitting at room temperature, is kind of cold. So it's like really, it's thicker. So once it starts warming up, it's relaxed. It moves around in the pan a little bit more, and then you could kind of see like little ripples.
Yeah,
in the pan.
Ripples in the pan.
If you're frying something, like placing something in oil, always like place stuff away from you so if it splashes, it goes that way. We just need this to like warm up on both sides, so it'll probably take like 2 minutes on each side. And then take them out and then do the rest of our salts.
How do we know when our chicken is done?
Well, with these sausages in particular, it's a fully cooked sausage.
Yeah.
So it's basically,
You just heating it up.
yeah. Getting dangerous now. I promise not to hurt you right now.
It's okay.
I'm gonna move the oil over here. I actually wanted to stay a little bit longer. It's not brown enough for me.
Like for me, cook, like especially making things in the pan, if it's not dark brown, it's not done. It is not done. That's not the answer. Some of the
So with a fully cooked sausage, all you're trying to do is heat it up, make sure it's completely warmed all the way through. But then again, like you're basically saying it's to your preference, like how dark do you want it to look. So when we just flipped it over, like to me, that wasn't dark enough. It looked like you tried to do something with it and then you just gave up.
Yes, whole neck. This is why you need parents, guys. You need your adult or your older siblings.
Just somebody that's not afraid of oil like I am.
Yeah. I should have worn long sleeves. I was
like, I
rarely
rarely fry stuff because I'm always just like. It's like fried plantain. Who's doing that? Ma, I bought some plantain for you. Can you handle this?
You got it.
Like I'm halfway tempted to just flip it so we can get this over with. I think I put a little bit too much oil in the pan. Alright, we're gonna let those hang out. Our water is boiling. And when you're using fresh pasta as opposed to frozen or dry pasta, it cooks a lot quicker. So we won't have to wait too long for this. I like to put the lid back on just so it can come back up to a boil quicker. So then once it starts boiling, that's when I'll take the lid back off. Alright, we're ready to flip. I don't care.
Yes, look at that. Look at that. Let me stand over here. Look at that.
That's what we're looking for. Even though the microwave went off for, I don't like you no more. Hold on.
Oh, some subtle steps back.
Yeah. We can edit all this out. Just gonna let it calm down for a second. That's the other thing, like electric stoves. I'm still like getting used to this, even though I've had an electric stove for like the past 2 years.
Yeah.
It's like a 4 isn't really a 4. Y'all are lying. Even though the microwave has already gone off for the spinach, we're gonna wait a second before we touch the bag because the bag itself will be hot. We'll just let it hang out, open the door a little bit so the steam can escape over there. Now we're going to get our Alfredo sauce and our beans open. I like to add beans to pasta dishes because it increases the fiber in your protein. So for your friends that may not eat meat, it could be any kind of a pasta. It doesn't have to be a cheese-filled pasta.
Yeah.
But if you do everything else and it's a vegan sausage instead of a chicken sausage or just no sausage at all, this will be a complete meal because you're adding beans to it. I just rinse it a couple times while it's still in the can. Usually the solution that the beans are in has the salt in it. So this is a way to get any excess salt out of whatever you're cooking. If you were to just, like all that goop. I just do it till the water starts to run clear. I think it is time for us to check our croissants because it's smelling very garlicky in here. Excuse me. Not done yet, but when you're baking stuff, you want to rotate it about halfway through so that you make sure it's cooking evenly in the oven. Reset our timer.
Very excited.
So if you look at our tortellinis now, they're like really big and all of them are floating at the top. So now we know that our pasta is done. We're turning that off. And our sausage is done. So we're going to take these out until we are ready.
They are nice and brown. Look at those.
Golden brown, delicious. Now we're going to add the beans, and be careful when you're adding the beans because you have oil in the pan, and oil and water usually don't get along too well. So now the oil, the pan, has flavor in it because we cooked the sausage first. So now we're making sure that we're adding flavor every step of the way. So now our beans are going to have some flavor to it.
So I'm a season freak. So you don't have to add, because it's absorbing the flavor from the sauce. You don't have to add it.
We're about to get into that.
Oh,
I'm just saying we're adding layers of flavor.
Oh, it's levels.
It's levels to it.
Oh,
So now we know the beans are picking up the flavor from that, but we're going to add more on top of it.
Oh, this is good.
So we have a little bit of salt. And always like lightly salt things as you're adding more stuff as you're adding more stuff into it. Because you can never take away seasoning, but you can always add.
Right.
So if you have way too much salt to something, your dish is just kind of ruined.
Right. Yeah. A little bit of pepper.
Then I'm gonna add red pepper flake as well. Yes. Like a little bit of spiciness. Let me see what else we have in here. I think I have the right one. I like so much. There we go. So this is just salt, pepper, red pepper flake, and oregano. So add to our beans.
Me this weekend watching these videos, like, add a little bit of oregano. Just lightly salt.
Then we're just going to keep adding more stuff to our pan. And now we're going to add now we're going to check on the spinach. And the bag has cooled down. One more to do. Rip it open, and the spinach is already cooked. You don't even have to do any hard work. You just add it in. Buying vegetables and fruit that are frozen or canned are just as good as buying fresh ones because.
Say that one more time. People in the back. Just for the people in the back.
Frozen fruits and vegetables or canned fruits and vegetables. Fruits that are in their own natural juices or in water, not the ones that are in the light syrup.
Yeah.
Not using my hands. They are just as good as if you were to buy them fresh in the produce section because they pick them when they're fresh and then they're frozen or flash steamed, which is a really quick cooking process. Similar to like how we cook the snap peas, as I was saying. If you don't cook it for a long time, the nutrients don't come out. So it's a quick cooking process. and then they preserve it in that state, basically, when they can it or they freeze it. So sometimes you may not, if you get fresh spinach, you may not be getting to it until like 2 or 3 days later. Now your spinach is, it's lost all of its nice lookingness. It's sad looking. You don't even want to use it. It might be moldy. Yeah. So get frozen. You know that you don't necessarily have to use it within the 3 days, and it's going to be there. Nothing's going to change about it. So now that we add spinach, we're going to add a little bit more salt, because again, this is a new component and we're just adding more layers. Spinach by itself doesn't really, so we don't want to add too much, just a little bit. And then since the spinach is already cooked, we're not waiting for that to cook. We just want to get it in the pan, season it, and now we're going to add the Alfredo sauce. Our timer on the oven just went off. So after we add the Alfredo sauce, we'll check on our garlic, croissants, I love making pasta. It always just like comes together so quickly.
And it lasts a long time.
Yeah, it's something that's filling. That's why I like getting like tortellinis or raviolis. Like you get like a ravioli that has like mushrooms in it, and it's like, oh, now I have another vegetable. And I don't have to do any work for it.
Yes, you make this look super easy. Now I feel capable of making some type of tortellini dish.
All that it is just adding more things to it, because you know normally it might just be, honestly, all we added was some beans. Like people will normally have like broccoli and Alfredo. You might have shrimp with it, chicken breast. All we did was add some beans. It's like bam, it's a whole new world. We'll turn our heat down. We don't want the Alfredo sauce to burn. And now we can add our tortellinis. So either you could just like drain the whole thing off, or I always have a little, oh, I'm making a mess. This is called a spider. I don't know why they call it that, but it's for taking things out. I got this at the Dollar Tree. You just scoop your pasta and place it right there. You could drain it, but like I like to just take it right out and put it into my sauce. And then if I do drain my pasta, sometimes I'll save some of the pasta water. So this is the reason kind of why I normally do it like this, is so that I have my pasta water. So if your sauce is too thick, you can add a little bit of the pasta water to it, and then you could get it to whatever consistency you like. And you have seasoned water because we put the salt in there already. So it's not just you adding plain water to it, and then it just messes up all of your flavor profile. This is a lot, so I'm not going to put all this in here. And we just fold that all in. Then at this point is where you would want to kind of taste stuff, see where your flavor levels are at. Maybe you want to add more oregano, more red pepper flake, maybe it needs some salt. This is time to figure all of that out. Miss Karina, would you like to try a little spinach and bean?
Is that even a question?
There you are, that's for you.
It's good.
I think it's cool. That's good to go.
Oh, that tastes so good.
Then we're going to turn it off, and now I add the sun-dried tomatoes. You could use any tomato, like if you have canned tomatoes, you could use that. If you do have some fresh tomatoes, cherry tomatoes are really cute to just like cut in half and put in here. But sun-dried tomatoes are very kid-friendly. They're already cut up. Just fold that in. And we're done. We just have to plate it up, put your sausage with it, and put some pecans on top.
Plate it up. Oh, biscuits.
Oh, so this is why you need to check your oven as soon as the timer goes off. I am that person.
Oh, look
They're
at them.
perfect.
They are just beautiful.
Look at that.
Beautiful. Look at them.
This is what we're talking about when we talk about golden brown.
Gold and brown. Oh, golden brown is what you said. I said golden brown.
It's the same difference.
It's the same difference.
It's all melanin.
It's news to me.
Alright. So let's do a little plate up for y'all. So this right here, without the chicken sausage, is a complete meal. You have vegetables, you have your protein from the beans, you got dairy from the sauce and the cheese, you got sun-dried tomatoes, so you have another vegetable that's going on in there. Then have some toasted pecans. You can use any kind of nut or seed that you like. Sometimes I like putting sunflower seeds on there. I probably should have gave you a plate, but here we are.
Beautiful.
Bam. I'm gonna do it up for you.
You got for us. What you got for us? Oh, come on. That's fancy.
I want you to be able to have your little bread on the side, you know.
That's the little things you do.
Bam. Look at that. That is some quality stuff right there, and I could probably do some quick maths, and this whole meal for one person is probably about like $3 or $4.
Wow.
If you break down the cost of everything, like, you know, you're just eating one sausage and all of that. You don't have to go to Olive Garden. You
I
don't
was
have
gonna say Olive Garden will charge us like $17 plus the tip. Should I pause it now? Should I pause it? Oh, we have to.
we have to do the outro.
Oh yeah, you can.
Okay. I could do like another. So there's something else.
Yeah. What inspired you to become a chef?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was something that I was just meant to do, honestly. I've been cooking since I was probably like 9 years old, doing stuff in the kitchen with my mom and all of that. I've always watched like the Food Network channel when I was younger, and thought like the Iron Chefs were really cool. So I don't know, maybe TV. TV told me that I could be a chef.
You definitely did. That's all they said. Look at this. Look at this. Somebody look at this.
So we have made another great meal today, and I hope that this is something, this meal in particular, I really hope that you and your parent or guardian get together and make this together, because this is definitely a meal that is to be shared with friends and family. We'll be back with, I believe, one more video, maybe two. We'll see, depending on how much I like y'all.
Yeah, yep, y'all. But you like us, like.
And I'm Chef ThugLife. Thanks for joining, and I'll see you soon.
See ya.